and welcome back to NACE Starleague Overwatch. We just witnessed our first series go 3-1 in a fantastic fashion, but now we have a second match up tonight, and to bring you all the action, of course, is still myself, Los, joined by LaFon. So happy to have you here.
Excited to be here. It's going to be a great time in the commentator booth because we have some great teams on the docket here for match number 2, I guess.
Well, before we jump into series number 2, we gotta talk about LLS. Now, CSL Esports has teamed up with LLS to raise awareness and support through the season with various initiatives. Stay tuned throughout the season for updates on these initiatives and fundraisers in support of LLS. Beating cancer is in our blood. And one of those initiatives is called Tilt Cancer, which embodies LLS's gaming and esports initiatives. For more information and to find out how you can create your own livestream fundraiser, please visit www.lls.org/tiltcancer. Now, after that, we have to talk about this matchup. Who are we seeing in the pit in the server today?
Well, it is going to be, wow, what a lovely timing. We got University of Houston versus University of Texas at Dallas. And, I mean, here's the thing, right? UTD is a really good team. University of Houston have their work cut out for them. And the other thing to note is that UT Dallas is undefeated, and the way they've won has been to shut out their opponents. So definitely a lot here to work against if you're University of Houston. Yeah,
the Cougars versus the Comets should be interesting to see. And I think there has been a bit of adjustments in the offseason on that roster. I do believe for UTD, we are missing one player who had made an appearance a lot in those post-game interviews. It's Paddle.
Yeah, so certainly some adaptation here from this team. I will say that this, UTD has a program that they're really proud of, that they're able to kind of contest with the best in collegiate Overwatch. So I have high expectations for this team. So far in the South Division, they've lived up to them. Again, looking at their score line, it's 3-0s across the board. So yeah, there is a lot on their shoulders in terms of pressure, but at least from the score lines we've been able to see, they've lived up to it. Now, game tape is going to tell the true story, and we'll get a chance to see how well they measure up to last season's performance.
Well, I mean, we also got to talk about University of Houston. We've seen them before go against Grand Canyon University. Like, there's some names that you'll recognize as Caffeinated, Zavilio, all of these players, Arya Jet as well. We've seen amazing plays out of Arya Jet's tank line. I'm so excited to see them back in it. And one thing that stood out to me was how dominant they were on Lijiang Tower, which is going to be our first map. Are they going to be able to bring that same intensity against UT Dallas, a serious killer within this conference? It's going to be exciting. It's going to be awesome. Like, just the series is going to be so good. So let's get things popping. It's Control. Oh
yeah. Here's probably the most important setup. So not to be confused by the header, UT Dallas will be on the left for this one, University of Houston on the right. There we go. This is going to be an important start because for Louis and Arya Jet, right, you're going to have a lot more pressure from Bashir Khan and Petal, and if you can stabilize here in that tank opposition, it's going to be really important here for University of Houston.
Zavilio sending out some explosives with Junkrat, but they aren't finding too much damage. Kashir Khan lighting things up in the back line with the Junkrat of their own, and things start up immediately. Oh man, UT Dallas starting up hot.
And I mean, that's kind of the highlight that Arya Jet's going to have to focus on for the rest of the series. It's not just about the tank duel. It's about avoiding the damage from the DPS. We saw Arya Jet try and play on the objective just to create a little bit more space, but that allowed Kashir Khan to walk in and put pressure on that front line. And here's a tough order. University of Houston, even in terms of ult charge, but Soba should have this Matrix on very swiftly as the flank comes in from the tank.
Oh, look at all the damage coming through the charge. It doesn't find success. Arya Jet comes back, and they will pay with the barrier almost destroyed, but it doesn't matter because all the damage is coming out from Petal's beam.
Yeah, and Louis lays down the shatter as well as they charge into the spot. Hello. Wave, standing like a gargoyle outside the spawn door, just, eyes on, is Louis as they wait forward. And they're not even letting University of Houston outside the spawn.
Oh my god, Louis and crew, they are not showing any mercy here for University of Houston. There's no escape, not even from your own spawn. What can they even do to get out of here?
Oh no, is this the rip tire from up here? It's, drop down. Okay, they're just no, don't do it. Don't do that. He survives?
Oh no, is he still? How is he
He's
still alive?
Oh, oh no.
They committed the photon barrier just for extra protection. I mean, it's not like they needed it really over on the objective. Kashir Khan is just spamming from the entrance, unabated at a secondary exit from the spawn.
And they used them all 3 HP. Not gonna get, okay, that's, yeah, definitely at that point in time. Gets punished, I suppose, but UTD has handily won that fight and likely will win out the round. There's 5 check marks for the University of Houston. How do they even use them, though? As UT Dallas sets up the Graviton Surge, Louis going to have another Shatter. That's a grab into spawn. Catches caffeinated. And University of Houston are trying to dump everything just to walk out their spawn doors.
Rescue, you know what to do, and it started to work out nicely. Louis, are players knocked out of the way from that Earth Shatter? I think that's the case, but it doesn't matter. Now's the time to move. They will get onto the objective. Kashir Khan, though, swinging back into action, looking to knock some players off, but the self-destruct will stop that. And there may be a contest, only one player, but UT Dallas snuffs out any hope of that one.
Yeah, they're players returning to the objective, and they're going to keep the overtime going, but as one player trickles on, they get eliminated, and that will be round number 1. Calling that 100-0 is perhaps underselling it, as UT Dallas, never not in control of the objective, take our first round completely dominantly.
If you're University of Houston, how do you even contemplate the next round? How do you walk into the next one here on the night market? What can you do to recover from that? I've got no clue.
Yeah, I mean, there's no strategic answer, right? This is a mental game more than anything else at this point for University of Houston. This is UT Dallas, as we expect them to be, right? We've seen this level of play from UT Dallas in previous seasons, so we know how they like to play, and they're winning. I will say this for the UT Dallas squad: not only are they winning out in the mechanical aspect of the game, but they're also winning out in the mental aspect. Getting in and denying UH Premier any sort of opportunity is adding a lot to just how much harder they can win.
Maybe it'll be reverse of the story, as there's so much aggression here. Actually, Kashir Khan in the lines of this restaurant, and I can't even tell what's happening, but we know that 4 players are down for Houston, and we're about to make it 5.
And I mean, point hasn't even unlocked yet, and they're already at the spawn doors. None type just barely gets away. At this point, you're fighting for single eliminations, University of Houston. Take it one step at a time, right? Pick off a player, then go from there. But UT Dallas survived to a player. Oh god, Louis with a flank shatter. I don't think anyone knows he's here. No, okay, they scout him out. They scout him out.
I want to say good. Good for everyone. Louis, this is the charge, but they have the support. Here comes the shatter, and it kicks down quite a few. Louis goes in for some swings, but they are blocked off. The stuns come through. Finally does go down. Kashir Khan here for the support. Knocks Arya Jet right into the wall. Follows it up with the Meteor Strike. Might be able to find folks, but that will be in a follow-up attack. Or maybe not. They're stuck themselves. Another lock off. That's how the University of Houston will find those kills, by isolating players. But what do these frags matter? What do the eliminations mean if you can't even get to the objective?
Here's the Ant Matrix 2, and the Primal Rage from Jukebox will be available in the backline. And in fact, they're going to go for it. So not even to the objective has University of Houston got, as they lose the Immortality field.
And here comes the Blizzard to stop anyone from having impact. And there it is. Just so much destruction while Zavilio makes it onto the objective with the Blizzard. No control is gained. Still locked solid by UT Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, saving graces are perhaps the fact that UT Dallas just is willing to use their resources and utility. Petal, the only one with an ultimate here for University of Texas Dallas. But again, University of Houston, it's about execution here. And with how quickly UT Dallas is willing to engage, yeah, there it is. A couple eliminations, both supports down yet again, and it only sacrifices 1 for it.
I'm going to be honest with one. I don't even recall Petal swapping heroes, and they had an ultimate so quickly. And to find value, getting 2 with that Dragon Strike, and just what else is there? This is going to be another map, or at least the first map.
And I mean, we talked about the fact that it's not just the fact that UT Dallas wins 3-0, it's how they win 3-0. here's how they win 3-0. They just lock out their opponents, keep them in spawn the entirety of the game, and I mean, that's just map number 1, right? That's just a complete and just shutdown of their opposition here to give themselves the 1-0 lead. As they're gonna get the highlight here, and really Sonic Arrow identifies no one can walk out there in time, and just again UT Dallas a dominant performance here for map number 1 as they look to try and equalize the series as quickly as possible.
Woo. Yeah. Great start there for UT Dallas. The question is, how is University of Houston looking to respond? Where are they going to take us for map 2? What are they going to do? How will they stop the massive aggression that's coming out from UT Dallas? And it's not even that they're defending a point. It's that they're attacking the spawn of Houston.
Here's the thing. As someone who once coached a team who was in a similar position, right, against teams that were of this caliber, the mental game, keeping yourself in it, is a big part of this, right? Just identify places where you can, take advantage of the hyper aggression that your opposition is going to show because of the dominant performance they have, and try and, isolate individual efforts to win out on. It's a tough ask. It really is, and it does no service to University of Houston to claim that, there's a way to equalize the series, because A, that would just be straight up a falsehood, and B, it's not actionable in any real sense of the word. So at this point in time, you look for moments where you can improve your level of gameplay, right? UT Dallas is going to take a fight before you're ready. That's how they go, because they're playing at such a quick tempo. So, identify, try and force yourself to be ready for the fight a little bit earlier, be a little bit more clinical with your combos. Make sure that everyone's on the same page. A lot of the times teams will 3-2-1 to do a combo. With these really good teams, they don't do that. There's, you're given a second, where before you had 5, there's no real opportunity to take that moment to breathe. And the quicker you identify that, and the quicker you're able to play at that level, the more likely you are to improve. And for University of Houston, that's where they have to make those changes.
Well, there is time for them to change, as we're going to head over to Numbani for map 2. But I want to go back to what you were saying, isolating those engagements, looking to take them down piece by piece. We did see a bit of that with Zivilio using the May walls, keeping players who got way too aggressive, locking them off, in isolating those targets. Now, you have to figure out how to do that at a grander scale. You have to have that focus fire to pick off one at a time, because you won't really have time to get that setup. You need to all be looking in a very team-oriented direction, a very strong composition, because look how fast they played. How many times can we say UT Dallas is fast as hell?
The other thing to highlight too is that with competitors, you have to have an ego. That's not a bad thing. The confidence is absolutely necessary to be a winning team, right? You have to believe you are the best. However, there is a flip side of that, where a player is going to be mechanically better than you. That's just the way of the world. And so that's when you have to recognize that your ego is not a good thing. And so rather than take a 1v1, force a 3v1, right? So that's sort of the fine line that University of Houston is running right now, is that mechanically they are outclassed. That's not, I think, a slight against University of Houston in any sense of the word. UT Dallas is just a very good team. But you have to identify, those moments where, okay, you're not going to win a Tracer 1v1 against Petal. Let's try something else. Set yourselves up for success and go from there. It's not a solution. Again, this is something that UT Dallas knows, and this is something that they play around, of course. But for the University of Houston, this is a learning experience in many ways, and so you have to take the opportunities we can get them. And UT Dallas, right where they left off, spawn door hold as they head to the defense of Numbani.
You can't out-aim, you gotta out-brain, but oh my lord, that's 3 down already, but Soba has been taken out in return. Arya Jet looking to cause a bit more havoc, especially with the Wrecking Ball in such close quarters. It could provide a profitable maneuver with so many up in your face. 5 players there for some damage. What can you do? You have to back off.
I mean, Zivilio is going to give themselves an opportunity to hunt down Soba. The question is, does UT Dallas care enough to peel for the Zen, or will Soba be able to just come back in and survive? The answer is no, because that's going to be essentially a 1-clip. So Zivilio sends Soba back, and this is a 5v6 now. So University of Houston has given themselves an opportunity to enter.
That's what we were talking about, getting those isolated fights, and now with so much pressure, so much damage coming in here, this may be their first win right here on this objective. That's a lot down. That's 3. They should be able to get it done with the tank gone as well. No healers in sight. especially with Arya Jet going to the back line, keep the healers away. That will be 2 ticks, and maybe it could be converted to a 3rd.
They're going to contest, so they get there. Oh, Shirkan stunned. Excellent play by Caffeinated to eliminate there, and that's going to be the first objective gain. As University of Houston identify that UT Dallas gets a little too greedy and punishes that aggression in spades, and so give themselves some progress as they hunt down Louis.
Yeah, excellent adjustment, but you gotta watch out because Petal with the blade is too strong right now. Oh! Oh my god. How many was that? Was that like 5?
That was 5 there from the Genji, and I mean Petal, the Nano Blade. This player has played at some of the highest tiers of Overwatch, and you can see how it comes in there so decisive with the dashes with the Genji Blade, and that's going to give themselves, the hold yet again in spawn.
You know, maybe it was a long-term play by Dallas to let them get that first objective so they can play it even closer. Comes that self-destruction out from Jukebox, won't find any success, but they have more pressure. They force them into close quarters to allow Louis as well as Kashir Khan to take advantage of that. There's nowhere to run, especially with those brawlers.
And here's a real problem with Numbani's second, is if you can set up a spawn trap here on this phase, it's really hard for the defense to get out because you're going from low ground into high ground. And again, UT Dallas is a very highly mobile composition. Every angle that UH Premier has to kind of take is a detrimental one. Look at them, they're looking up, not down. So this is going to be a really significant plays for UT Dallas to take fights.
I mean, Kashir splitting up the offense now, backing up into the spawn. There's not much they can do. There isn't anything they can do. They have to wait, go for a full reset. That certainly will take some time as this is going to be a bullying effort onto defense.
The cart does move forward a little bit, so not to put too fine a point on it. University of Houston, infinitely better than their first map performance as they get the objective underway. So impressive stuff. There's the 6-player check mark. It's 6 ults online. University of Houston use rally out of spawn as Arya goes to the high ground.
There it is in response. Silva comes in with the sound barrier and they're jumping it again. Here's Petal with the blade, but I don't believe there's a nano to follow it up. So not as much damage as they were hoping for, and Petal actually goes for a retreat.
Yeah, the cart moves forward. Zivilio's the one who just draws everyone back, and this is a really smart play from University of Houston as they deny UT Dallas the setup that they want. As players are chasing down the backline, that rally keeps everyone alive, and here's the minefield to prevent the people from escaping.
That was a great placement, but a little bit too much speed coming out from Dallas. They do get to escape it, but still, it creates space. They can go back to the objective and bring it almost to the second point.
Yeah, Louis is going over to the Reinhardt here, so, I mean, that's a tacit acceptance that you've won the dive mirror. Sibilia goes for a pulse bomb, a big pickoff, Kashir down.
Jukebox looking to get that remake, and here it is. It will go for the engages. Louis takes down 2, 3 for University of Houston have fallen, but they're still fighting.
Yeah, this is going to have to be a reset, though. Fighting, and unfortunately, I think this is going to be Diego getting staggered out. Yep, not close enough to the cliff. They're going to walk away. And their Petal will put Diego into a reset position. Caffeinated barely staying alive, but barely is still alive. So, walking back to the spawn, UT Dallas. Back to the spawn door as they go.
Here comes Arya Jet, looking for some impact. They have to retry that strategy. Getting Zivilio in the backline will be a little bit more difficult here on the Doomfist. They gotta do what they gotta do. Here comes the Nano Blade out of Petal in the spawn room. No one will escape from this player.
And looking around for even more, there's the D-Mech, I believe, onto Diego. Indeed it is. And they're gonna allow the D.Va to walk back into spawn. That's just the fastest way of stalling out. Caffeinated everyone just trying to get on the flank as Zivilio tries to get to the objective for a back cap. Here's the problem with any back cap attempt. Yep, there it is. Shere Khan is in tow. Survives? No. Okay, good elimination there from Zivilio. You have to feel that UT Dallas is returning to hunt down the Doomfist.
That's the case, and it does open up an opportunity. Plenty of players scattered away from the opening of those spawn doors, but what does it lead you? Players stuck in close quarters and nothing they could do, especially when Petal is out looking for you, but might be a nice pick over onto Louis. Arya Jet might find some value out of that one, but they have to regroup with the rest of the squad.
Oh, Soba is gonna sacrifice their life to keep everyone in spawn. Time is of the essence here. It's running out. 30 seconds left, and UT Dallas continue to just play in the spawn room here of the defense.
Khan, whoa! Kashir Khan flying away, and Petal almost facing death as well. Here comes the self-destruct that doesn't find success. Here is a nano back onto Diva. Jukebox will back up off that. No value really found except fighting its defense, keeping them distracted. They can't fully push throughout this streets area, so no one is even dying on the side of UT Dallas. They just seem to be soaking up this damage.
Yeah, getting the resets coming in. Here's the Doomfist going for the play. Gets a nice elimination to Petal, and will stay alive with the Meteor Strike. Ilio making sure that this keeps UH Premier in the thick of things.
Wow, Louis utilizing that charge to both escape from the fight and bring Arya Jet with them. Bashir Khan has to back off with the rest of UT Dallas, and they actually manage to get this second objective. They aren't out of the fight just yet, but watch out. With this tactical visor, it might go crazy.
Yeah, you have to feel that the the offensive side, Kicking and Screaming University of Houston have dragged this to the final stage. Spawn camp onto Zavilio, trying for revenge. The Transcendence will keep people alive for the moment through this tactical visor, but UT Dallas, they don't really have to worry too much as they are eking time off the clock yet again.
Yeah, 55 seconds left on the clock here for University of Houston. Oh, the charge isn't quite nice, but it's still doing some damage. It's all about forcing Houston into those close quarters engagements where they truly cannot escape from all the damage UT Dallas is bringing to the party.
Yeah, it's going to be a couple more eliminations. Soba and Kashir Khan are way out. Louis coming back. That's a good wall to cut off Louis' charge, just to make sure that he doesn't go too far back into spawn. Jukebox being chased down. I mean, University of Houston still moving the card forward as time ticks away.
Louis here with the charge. The Nano Louis is going kablooey here with multiple kills. It's 4 dead, or 3 dead, about to be 4 here for University of Houston. UT Dallas has taken some hits in terms of 2 deaths, but nothing else.
No,
Seconds left.
That's gonna be it. Yeah, with 3 seconds remaining, no one can even contest. Yep, there goes Louis into spawn, and just a way of goodbye. And University of Houston complete the majority of the map, and now have to cement themselves on defense if they want to equalize the series. Progress gained, but it must be admitted that UT Dallas was playing a very loose play style, shall we say, constantly tagging the spawn doors on their opposition side of the map, and even with that, completed a 2-point hold. So a lot here to take credit from if you're University of Houston. You don't get bogged down in the mental game of things. You're still playing to win, even as UT Dallas is being aggressive with their approach. But UT Dallas has shown that on the offense, they're just as clinical, as lethal as they have showcased on map number 1.
I want to see what Houston can do here. I want to see how they will be able to isolate those fights. What can Zavilio do to recreate those backline distractions here on the defense? Will UT Dallas even bite?
Certainly a tough ask. And I mean, Zavilio on the Doomfist was able to get a lot of really clean eliminations, so mechanically up there as well. It's now UH Premier. It's all about not taking these fights not losing too many members of the fights if they can help it, and not let yourself get into a position where you're taking isolated 1v1s, right? So certainly possible as University of Houston set up here, and Arya Jet looks for a flank play on the Wrecking Ball, but UT Dallas walk up and try and get their feet moving here on this objective.
Arya Jet hasn't been spotted, and there is plenty of opportunity with this tunnel funnel. I think Nuntype has spotted him out. They get hit with the sleep dart. That should spell everything. Kashir Khan, I don't even know how they got into this back area. What? They're lighting up Houston, no problem. That's 4 dead already.
Yeah, caffeinated crouching. Unfortunately, there's a sonic arrow on the other side of the wall, and so the eliminations come through, and that's point 1. Captured very swiftly. And UT Dallas are back of the hunt.
I don't even know how Kashir got there so quickly. Where did he come from? It must have been from lower and goes up the stairs in the back
Yeah,
line.
the left mega with the sprint from the soldier is fairly swiftly moving, so that's probably what happened.
Wow, just serious damage. 2 self-destructs, 3 even, to save themselves some charge from the enemy. Shere Khan already waiting for someone to hang out from the spawn. It's going to be another duel out here, looking to remove Zavilio from play. They don't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah, it's 2 players left on the objective. The remainder up here, making sure that no one can walk out of spawn. 5 minutes, 7 seconds counting down. And University of Houston are just looking for a pickoff, something. As I think Petal's on the Widow on the objective. Shere Khan staying alive, and there it is. The headshot from the Widowmaker, down to 1 already.
The fact that Petal was able to land that shot to save Kashir for just a few more moments before there was superior follow-up by Arya Jet just shows how much impact they have, how well they work together. There's nothing they can't do when they put their minds together. I can't believe I said it, but you know what? I made it.
Speaking of mines, oh, that's a nice shot. Coupled with a pile driver, Diego has nowhere to go, and yep, I mean, Caffeinated is not really going to find a ton of value. Tactical Visor after everyone's dead with the nano boost. Lucio is extra down, and University of Houston, 5 minutes 40 as they try to defend this half of third phase to give themselves a chance in the series.
Looks like they're just having a good time. And that's what Overwatch is all about, I would have to say. In the back line, we still have a lot of trouble being caused by Louis. All of those players stuck in those close quarters. That's what they like to do, especially Louis. Get those close quarters battles, make them uncomfortable, make them sweat. You can't fight away, you can't escape. You create space and distraction for Kashir Khan, who again, get into the back line. Here comes the Gravitic Flux out of Diego. The bubbles keep them safe. They won't be able to get the kill over onto Soba, but some more aggression. They have the kinetic grasp, but in return, it's a Graviton. The Gravitic Flux doesn't find anything, but the Graviton finds a ton.
And now it's just a case of cleaning up the objective, trying to get the start over the line. The Dragon Blade in panic will find 1, tries for a second. The Caffeinated has to back up, and it's looking like the beginning of the end here. As who will touch the objective to keep this one contested? Petal taken down by the Coalescence, so some progress being gained here.
Ooh, yeah, another Coalescence kill. It's Jukebox removed. Louis, the only tank here to help out, will just take a ton of damage and eventually fall, or at least I thought. Shere Khan looking for the value out of that tactical visor, but a great deflection will remove it and any ability it has to get that kill. And we're just slowly rolling into the finish here, LaFon.
Yeah, the hack onto the Lucio as well, so no healing or speed as the sound barrier ekes away. And it's final moments here as Jukebox on the Roadhog tries for a hook. And it feels like University of Texas Dallas are nearly at that finish.
Yeah, only a few meters away, just 1. They have to clear it off. It's a last-ditch effort, scrambling for the objective, hoping to stall as much as they can. But if you're looking to stall for 3.5 minutes, you'll be hard-pressed to figure out how to do that one. Arya Jet coming in, swinging through, knocking out Jukebox from play. There's no one else to support it, so they'll roll on through to win. Numbani 2-0.
That was a longer map, though, than map number 1 was. And University of Houston refused to give up and die, and respect to that. Even as University of Texas Dallas just puts a show on in terms of the offensive side of things, University of Houston stays in the game. And that is just a player that really knows how Genji works, getting a ton of value with the Nano Blade.
Even after
Excellent
getting
stuff.
stunned.
Yeah. Just able to dodge the fire. So map number 2 goes to UTD, and University of Houston are perhaps 1 map away from being eliminated in this match, this series, as UTD will head back to the game. So now waiting for that map number 3 should be coming in just a moment. Certainly a much more one-sided game this time around.
Yeah, it happens to be that way, but would it be considered worse than what we saw on Lijiang Tower? I don't think so. There's definitely signs of improvement from Houston for sure.
Yeah, and I think University of Houston have to be given a lot of credit, even with the series going as it is. It's a team that, as I said, a lot to be said for a team that does not give up, even when all odds are against you. So a ton of respect for the players on University of Houston, as they made Numbani competitive. So things you like to really see from teams is when they're able to do that. And so yeah, for University of Houston, a lot of credit goes out to them.
breaking out of the spawns and not being bullied into that for too long. While there was that situation we saw after they first activated the payload and go into the second phase of the map, they were stuck. But as we know, it's high ground going in from low ground. It's so difficult to break out of that area, but credit to them. They brought it all the way to halfway to that third objective, and signs of life out of Houston for sure. Ability to isolate those kills, exactly what we were looking for, but at a grander scale, it's going to be way more difficult. So I'm excited to see if they could actually learn the lesson, maybe fully send the payload down the way, because for map 3, we're heading over to Rialto.
This is going to be, excuse me, this is going to be a really creative one here. I'm excited to see how University of Texas Dallas continues their assail of the spawn room. So this is certainly eyes on that, and a bit of a stylistic change up in map number 2. They do really love to play that high tempo style, and I think Louis playing the Reinhardt is going to be for University of Houston, they forced it onto it on the early in the third phase, and if that can continue, perhaps there's an opportunity here for University of Houston to just keep the map going.
Yeah, no, there's totally hope, totally signs of life here for Houston. I believe that what we already saw, improvement from Lijiang Tower, they improved in Numbani, and I'm certain that there can be improvement as the series goes on. Because as you mentioned previously, it's about learning lessons, it's about getting better in a series like this. While, we don't expect them to win, this can still be a good experience for University of Houston to find more success as the conference continues.
Yeah, the other thing to highlight, though, is for UTD, this is a team that the expectations for are sky high. They're one of the teams that should be performing in a top 5 position in the entirety of the NACE Starleague, right? Not just their division, but overall. And so, sure, they're playing a little bit more cavalier with their positioning and style of gameplay, but you have to expect for a team that is going to be playing against some of the best that NACE Starleague has to offer at the end of the season that we have to lay expectations on them quite heavily. So as much as we're pleased with University of Houston gaining progress, you have to see if you're a UTD fan that this is an opportunity to ice out your opponent in completely dominant fashion, because a team getting this much progress on you when you're supposed to be one of the top 5 teams is certainly something to kind of think about.
I mean, maybe it also speaks to what Houston can bring to the table. While we know UT Dallas, one of the best, made it so far within the last season's championship playoffs, almost in the top, you can expect that there will be competition forming, but we got to talk about the competition right now, as Jukebox has been taken down early on the fight. They're looking for those spawn kills, and maybe they aren't going to be as successful as they thought. That's 2 down. Petal, the real damage dealer, does take the hit. They will be backing off, but in return, 2 fall from Houston.
Yeah, and Civilio's not done yet, so this has been, again, UTD, not... Civilio thought that Nuntype was going to be eliminated there. Unfortunately, the respawns come in, and Louis is going to find one. So the respawns are coming back in. Here's the thing. University of Texas Dallas cannot underestimate their opponent too much.
That, I gotta say, that was great timing out from Petal to land that hit onto Caffeinated. It wasn't enough to secure the elimination, but was flashy for sure.
Yeah, looking forward. UH Premier going to get the cart moving forward. And this has become a really clean dive from UH Premier, as UT Dallas have not gotten a full reset in. They're trying to force these skirmishes. And in Overwatch, it's very, very difficult to carry as a single player. And exactly as that showcases, mechanically very strong. They get a couple of eliminations, but University of Houston are playing as a team, and they're going to roll this objective into first.
Exciting to see, but there will be an attack again. We do have Jukebox looking for the stall. Louis comes in for the Earth Shatter, finds 2. Here's the Nano. They remove 2 from play. Here's the Rocket Barrage, but it's saved. It's stopped by Jukebox using the defense matrix, and it's not over yet. Petal here for the aggression off the Cassidy, and they are halted. Only 4 meters away from the objective.
Yeah, so that's going to be, now it's going to be a really tough ask for University of Houston to try and capture that first objective, because you have to roll through so much of the map to get to the payload, and UTD setting up aggressively around spawn. That being said, University of Houston identifies players who are sitting out on an island and eliminate them one by one, give themselves an opportunity to return. Nuntype barely gets that sound barrier off. He's going to survive for the moment. But UH Premier in a position to try and eliminate some of these more aggressive players.
That feels like almost a waste of the sound barrier because your team will need that later on, but Kashir Khan makes sure that there's time before the next fight with a 3K off the Dragon Blade.
And that flashbang onto Caffeinated knocks them off the map, so UTD are going to back up a little bit, not much. They're going to play the opposite flank this time around. You can see setting up for the play here. Arya Jet with the mines, trying to get to the objective perhaps.
But now they're looking forward at Soba. Soba lands that sleep dart that could be crucial, but now there should be an opportunity for them to take advantage. Jukebox knocked out, doesn't find the kills with the self-destruct. Caffeinated now with the Dragon Blade, finds 2 of their own. It's time for revenge, and University of Houston is feeling it.
And this time there will be no contest, as Petals on the flank there identified and going to be hunted down by 3 players, as University of Houston refused to allow the Cassidy to sit in the back line there. So the payload continues movement forward, and I have to say 3 minutes is pretty respectable here for the University of Houston as they set up in the second phase of Rialto.
Vilio gonna do some damage. Kashir Khan with the deflection. They will actually have a dive on them as well. Jukebox looking for the play. Zavilio still hanging on, and no, an Earth Shatter kills 2!
Kills 2, and the DMEC will be there as well as the Deadeye cleans up the remaining members. Captain, nice deflect there onto Kashir Khan. Taken out for their troubles, but still respectable stuff here from University of Houston. And again, the one thing to be said for University of Texas Dallas is they never change their style as they continue to spawn doors yet again here on Rialto.
And it is costing them. Most of the aggressive plays that we see are from University of Texas Dallas going in for the spawn camps, getting isolated by the players coming out of the spawn, and then making some headway off of the payload. This isn't going to be one of those times, but if they stick around, it might come true.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. Second phase of Rialto is sneakily difficult to escape if players hold aggressively, right? You can see both spawn doors right here in the open. I think Kashir Khan uses the dash and is getting hunted down, but the remaining members are here as Louis charges into the front line.
Louis manages to make it back inside the room, but they will get D-Mex, which, yeah, will eventually lead to them jumping off because there's no chance UT Dallas will allow them to get back in. So it's just wasting their time. Now multiple ultimates coming through. Oh my god, Kashir Khan wins the duel out, beats the Nano Blade on the other side. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, this is it's the funny thing is even as Kashir Khan shoots his spawn, this does not deal damage. It's those stop signs say that it's a safe zone behind it. UH Premier continues to lose players, even as they claw one back. So a minute left on the objective or on the clock, and UTD continue to hold the front line.
It's not what we expected. Just look at the payload. It's all the way back here. You would think that finally University of Houston actually finding 2 eliminations, maybe even more. Pedals should be able to go down as they hit with the ante, and that's 3 down for Dallas. Should be time for a resurgence of play, maybe even a 4th, but they will have to back off. They have to focus on that objective.
Kashir Khan is going to reset here, and so too will Diego. As Cafe try to find Nun type, but the Lucio is well in the back line here, and the remaining member is just a diva, so trying to get back into play as University of Houston rolls the cart forward just a little bit longer. Last 20 seconds.
Louis has that Earth Shatter. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop it right as it goes down, and there it is! One does fall on their back, but that's all they need as the rest of the team envelops. Kashir Khan has the Dragon Blade. I don't think it'll be popped. Won't be necessary because there's only 5 seconds left, and nobody from University of Houston is making a case to come back to this one.
Yeah, UT Dallas are going for 360s on their shots, so overtime is in effect as 2 players get to the objective, both tanks, and immediately assailed and turned on it as they get taken down. And with that, overtime will tick away in a moment. Halfway through seconds, will be as far as University of Houston gets, as UT Dallas try to close out the series in their attack run.
Still contesting, still not giving it up. Zavilio does have that tactical visor, and here it is, popping off. Might be able to find some value. There goes Petal. And You gotta watch out now because Louis is here. The Nano Hog is getting some work done, at least to soak up bullets and keep the destruction away from the rest of the damage dealers. Maybe hiding. Actually, 2 go down, but it's a double Diva Bomb.
Yeah, and that means that even if Zivilio had stayed alive, there was no one else to assist. And the cart will move forward another 2 meters, but in the end, UT Dallas will hold and now set to the offensive side of things as they look to close out the series and end a 3-0.
Yeah, absolute destruction coming out from the side of Dallas, especially when we're talking about that second point spawn room, because they were in absolute control there. Going back to what you were saying, sending in damage to the doors even though it wasn't doing anything, just as a sign we own this area.
I guess the question is now, how does UT Dallas play on the offensive side of things, right? Because defensively, no holds barred, just all out, even when it cost them players, right? So does that continue on their offensive side? And how does University of Houston try and punish, that level of aggression? We'll see.
I think that level of aggression is what's going to start this off, as they have that spawn room advantage. And as long as they're close to the objective to kick things off, they'll throw as many bodies as they need, which, to be honest, it won't be many bodies that they will lose in the process.
This is probably one of the more interesting looks they've had so far, right? The May Symmetra. So a lot of close range brawl. Actually, they're going for the teleport to the high ground on the May wall. Is that? Let's see. Oh, they're gonna walk off. Yep, there it is.
Wow, that was such a ridiculous play. What's the response from Houston? It's gonna be a bit difficult, but they will find a bit of success as 4 go down for Dallas.
The only one left in the front line is Soba, who will trade out only 1. So a couple stay alive. I think it's just Jukebox who's living now. And is going to move the payload forward. Zivilio can't be aggressive. Neither could Diego, as, very, very low was the Sigma. So I guess that's a fight win for UT Dallas. Expensive though it was. University of Houston don't stop the payload, and Louis just charges in the backline.
Well, now, even though it doesn't hit anyone, it creates space and causes chaos. It splits up the healers from the rest of the tanks, and now there isn't much that UT Dallas can do. That's 4 dead. Only the tanks remain. It should be an easy fight win.
Yeah, and this time, the nano boost is committed for Jukebox to hunt down Sarisa. And there they go. There's the wall to deny, and now the player's running out of spawn as the cart will enter into that first checkpoint in just a moment.
And there it is. Back again, finally. They get to do what they've always wanted and go into the spawn of University of Houston. This time, no barrier keeping them at bay. The payload will keep on rolling.
And it's, again, the yellow box of victory is just around that second corner, so. Oh, they're going for the wall up the flank here. Yep, the teleport, there it is.
Oh no! Houston is not expecting this, but a quick pickup of the Gravitic Flux out into that Dragon Strike does provide value for the short term, but I mean, look at the kill feed. There's 5 dead, and Arya Jet will make it 6. It's a team kill.
Yeah, that being said, that fight was played so that they had all 6 players go over the side, so the cart did not move forward at all. So University of Houston will get a chance to get 1 more fight in before the end of this map, and I mean, they don't really have anything to work with, but UT Dallas, at least 1 more fight. They're going for the teleport play again.
Oh my god. This can't be illegal, LaFon. Illegal gameplay. They're continuing the destruction. Jukebox on the Primal Rage. Folks no longer here to provide heals. Maybe they can knock Genji off. I think that might be the case. Jukebox so into the play they sacrifice their own life. I think it's going to be another one. They're just throwing their bodies on the line. And that's exactly what we expected. As many bodies as it takes to get the win, and they are getting it.
I think the funnier thing was Jukebox going for the Primal Rage for the play to knock someone off the map and then throws himself off by just walking a little too far. So that's going to be it. The cart's going to roll in to the checkpoint. The last second contest from the will eliminate University of Houston in this final map of Rialto, and it will be a 3-0 scoreline.
Yeah, it's what we expected going into this one. It
Yep.
is exactly what we expected from a caliber of UT Dallas. It's no-brainer. A 3-0, but still strong showings.
I think the one thing that I didn't expect though, and that I'm happy to see, is that University of Houston. I came in, I expected this to be a 3-0. I expected UT Dallas to play as carelessly as they did. What I didn't expect was that University of Houston would still take opposition and be able to put on a performance on here. So I'm very, very pleased with what University of Houston were able to accomplish here, even as they go down 0-3. The fact they were able to gain multiple objectives in the map is good for them. So credit to University of Houston here for sure, as UT Dallas take the expected 3-0. Not quite as flawlessly as they perhaps hoped.
It wasn't in a decisive fashion for sure. If every game was what we saw over on Lijiang Tower, then it would be a different story. But, Houston, they came back into the game, isolated some kills, worked as a team, took advantage of the overconfidence and the ego of UT Dallas. Not to say, as we were saying, not that it's a bad thing, but, when you're at that skill level, you're going to play more risky. And when you could take advantage of that, when you could notice signs of weakness in your opponent and win off of that, that's a good skill to have, a good trait to have for Houston.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing, though. There's still questions going to be asked about how does University of Texas Dallas play when there's an opponent that does not require them to overextend to punish, right? Because, again, UT Dallas, they performed really well last season. Now, still questions remain about their performance here this season. I have high expectations for this team. I really do. They've proved time and again that they're capable of it. So, interested to see how the future shapes up for this squad.
Yeah, but I think we could confidently say that